What is up, everybody? Undad back again for another Survival Hunter video. This is going to be my first quick one ever, I swear. We're going to be brief, and we're going to be going through a new talent build that I have found some success with in Mythic Plus and didn't mention in our previous Mythic Plus Talents video. So I want to get something new up to show you this, and I think this is what I'm going to be playing in pretty much every key that I play from now on, with maybe 1 point changed every once in a while for like larger trash dungeons, like stuff like Freehold, for example, where it's just big pull after big pull, or maybe Brackenhide. But even Brackenhide I'll talk about in a second. I'll explain why I may not change in there. So anyways, the new build that I am running is this. The major changes are that I took 2 points out of Ruthless Marauder and 2 points out of Sweeping Spear, and I put them into Mongoose Bite, Flanking Strike, and Tactical Advantage. And then on the class tree, I actually pulled out of Hydra's Bite Poison Injection completely and put 2 points in Serrated Shots. Now, I went in and I think, notoriously someone who doesn't really sim a lot. Like, I'll sim a little bit, especially on characters I don't understand, or don't understand as well, but like on my main character that I'm playing a shitload and I kind of understand the inner workings of. I do a lot of feely crafting as opposed to theory crafting. But over the weekend, I sat down, I simmed for a couple hours and just like looked at different single target situations and durations, bigger AoE duration fights, looked at Dungeon Slice, looked at MDT sims for different routes and stuff like that, and tried to pull the most consistently strong build I could put together across like all these different situations. That's really what a key is. A key is as close as the MDT sims can get to a key. There's other factors that matter, like showing like having stats to do damage on a huge pull is often very impactful in a key, even if a good portion of the key is like lower target counts, if that makes sense. So the main goal for me was to pick up my 2 points in Tactical Advantage, which is a good AoE talent along with a major single target increase over Ruthless Marauder. Ruthless Marauder is generally very weak on single target because generally Fury the Eagle is not cast very much on single target. Like, these 3 points are very weak single target points, while quite good AoE points. And I'm hitting the point in my crit where crit is starting to lose a lot of value for me. I'm up at the DR levels of both haste and crit. So for any of you who don't know, at 5,200 of a stat, it starts to have diminishing returns. So any value past 5,200, you'll get 10% less from each increase point of haste or crit or mastery, whatever it is, past that break point. So my stats have gotten to a point where I'm right at that hump, and I don't want to go too far past them. Going past them is fine, but if you can replace them with versatility, it's pretty good. So like, I'm running versatility on my essence now because I'm at 5k crit and 5,200 haste, and verse is starting to be very powerful for me in enhancing these other two things. So with that, the crit from this starts to lose a little bit of value as well. And the CDR on this is like good, but it's always been, especially on pulls where you have your 2 minutes, it's a little bit wasted because you get so much CDR from the CA after you hit your first Fury of the Eagle, and then by the time the pull's ending, it's kind of hard to get a good value Fury of the Eagle. So I wanted to grab some more single target damage and not sacrifice too much AoE, and I think this was the move here. So then I have my 2 points in Sweeping Spear that are just kind of, you have to pull one out to get through Flanking Strike, right? So you have to pull these two here, gets you one and one here, and then I pull one out of Sweeping Spear. And then your last point here, you can kind of put wherever. You can choose between Mongoose Bite, Sweeping Spear, or 1 point in Ruthless Marauder. 1 point in Ruthless Marauder will generally be more AoE damage. You will obviously do more damage with Fury of the Eagle when you use this. It's just a single target hit. This is usually about like a 2% single target hit by losing Mongoose and taking Ruthless Marauder. You can drop it for 1 point in Sweeping Spear, which is a little bit of a middle ground. It also makes you not have to play with Mongoose Bite if you don't want to. This ends up being something like a 1.5% loss on single target. Not as big a gain on AoE as well. This is something like a 3% AoE gain, whereas this is more in like the 1 to 1.5 gain. But it is a middle ground if you just want to play Raptor Strike and still lean into a little bit of single target. So I actually recommend the Mongoose Bite now. I know I went on in the old talent tree video about how like I didn't think Mongoose was that good, and there were situations where Raptor would perform better. But now that we're at a point where it's like 1 point and the other two, like 1 of 2 Ruthless and 1 of 2 Sweeping Spear, are not super high value, because you can't run the 2 out of 2 Sweeping Spear, your Raptor Strikes are quite a bit weaker. 10% weaker on your Raptor Strikes. So the difference between a low stack Mongoose Bite and a no sweeping Steery Raptor Strike it's less significant, right, than it was previously. So I leaned into Mongoose Bite. But again, if you don't like playing with this, it's not gonna be too big a difference to try one of the other two. And I am gonna try Ruthless Marauder 1 point in both Bracken Hide and Freehold this week, see how I like that. And then over here on the left side, surprisingly enough, I actually think the Serrated Shots 2 out of 2 is the move. I think this is very good. It comes very close single target to Latent Poison Injection, and as soon as there's AoE, it's way better. Because this is affecting your Master Marksman is actually what's affecting the most. This trait here, your melee and range special attack crits, 15% more damage. So the buff to this was actually very noticeable. This became a much more impactful portion of my damage, along with the cleave bleeds from Birds of Prey and Coordinated Kill. Make this talent very good. And then this point, you can kind of do whatever with this point as well. Like for example, this week with Incorporeal, you could use this to take Scare Beast instead of dropping a defensive point. You could take Path or Trailblazer if you feel like moving faster here and there. You could take Improved Trank Shot. I don't think it's that great. You could take Sentinel Owl. I don't really know where this would be useful. Maybe some places in Uldaman this could be pretty good when you're like lining the Thundering Claps. I'll have to think a little bit more about this point. But I really like having Serpent Sting because I don't like playing Hunter and not having an ability that can cleanly pull mobs for my tank if I need to, right? Like this is more so, this is like no longer really a rotational button almost at all when you're not playing Hydra's Bite. And it just turns into like, this is almost a utility button. Now there are some builds that'll do something like this. How did they get over here? Shit, there's one more point they got to take. Oh no, it's like this, where they drop Intim, and then you wouldn't take this, you would do this, and you get 3% pet damage. And I think this is the worst shit. I think dropping Intim is just like, you're crazy, dude. Like, just don't do that. So I would choose to do this version of the build is what I would like. And again, you can, if you don't really care about the Serpent Sting, you can grab some more utility stuff up here instead. But don't lose Intim, man. It's very weird if you pull up into a dungeon, you don't have your single target stun. It's like kind of your most useful utility as Hunter. So that's it. I will post a export link in the description. I hope you guys give this a try. And actually, one more thing before. So with this, because you don't have the CDR and Fury of the Eagle, you're going to play a little bit different in that you want your Furies, at least on AoE, to be in your Death Chakram always. Instead of how we played a little bit before, where you would kind of get that Fury off at the beginning, and then your Chakram would be during your Coordinated Assault. You want this to fit in and then the beginning of your Coordinated Assault. So when you pull up to a pack, if there's a priority target, you'll hit a kill command. You'll just dump your 2 bombs real quick. Explosive Shot, Death Chakram, Fury, and then immediately go into your Coordinated Assault with your Kill Shot, Bomb, Carve, Kill Shot. Going to be double bomb here after. Carve into bomb, kill shot, etc., etc. So, wow, 3 million DPS. That's crazy, these Legion target dummies. So that's the only real difference here. You're just going to be using on AoE. Your Fury will be used with your Chakram every time. And on single target, your Chakram will just be on cooldown. Just send your Chakram on cooldown. Don't think about it too much. And line it up in AoE. So I'll post a export link in the description, as I was saying before. I'll post that below. Curious what you guys think. Try this out this week. See what you like. See if you like the different variations over here, the 1, 2, or 3 point option over here. Maybe try out LPI, Hydra's Bite, or Serrated Shots. See what you think about this. I am like really actually sold on the Serrated Shots. I know I didn't expect to be, but the more I played with it, the more I was like, man, this is actually like I'm good with this. I think I'll play this everywhere now. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys have a fun week this week as Incorporeal, as we are the gods of Incorporeal with Freezing Trap, Scare Beast. This class owns. So carry some pugs and have fun. Peace.